was a gun.
I'm not voting.
If we want to build our nation.
The problem with the Somalians.
Just want to experience something else than a black man.
Move on, move
Can't be like a horse with blinkers. Honestly say, I was about to have sex and then I pulled
crap,
up.
but it's nice.
Hi, my name's Teresa and I'm a project manager.
My name is Linda and I work in film production.
Hi, my name is Charlotte and I'm an internal auditor.
Hey, my name is Bastana, but everybody calls me Basi. I'm Linda's friend, and I'm an engineer. That's what I do. I mean, first, if you ask someone how, who broke into your house, or did you see that person, what are the first words they're going to describe them as? They're going to mention their race. Well, it doesn't matter, no, it doesn't really matter if they're black or white. But I mean, the first thing you're going to do is describe their race, then maybe their sex, and then their height and what they were wearing. But that's the first thing that when you see someone, that's the first thing you notice, like, oh, it was a cute black girl, or a cute white girl, or something like that, But it's still real, it's a factor, and different places are worse than others, like Cape Town.
Whoa, man.
Cape Town is... Wow. Cape Town is so racist, and then it tries to act like it isn't. It tries to act like it's the most liberal place in South Africa, and, no.
But then you get out of the airport and you're driving into the city and you're like, what? And then now they're trying to put up these big flats to hide the shacks. And then you're like,
as soon as you fly in.
Exactly.
Yes,
But you're like, what's the sense in that?
It looks like you're gonna land in the shacks, actually. Like, if as you're coming down, you're just like, oh my gosh, we're gonna kill people as we land. And then you drive towards the beautiful white, city, whitewashed walls and the lit mountain. Wow.
Buildings and the lit mountain.
Yeah.
Dear God, yeah. But I mean, even just going out, the social scene.
Yeah.
I mean, how often?
Linda and I went to the theatre on Wednesday,
yeah.
and we went to go and see The Tempest.
And John Cunny, you know what I mean?
John
What
Cunny
everyone
and his
knows.
son, okay?
Ooh, he's cute.
Gorgeous son. Anyway, and we were in the theatre, and sort of at interval or whatever, I just looked around. It was packed.
Yes.
It was packed. I couldn't believe there were so many people coming to see Shakespeare.
Wow.
Yeah, theatre. And there were only white people. It was just white faces.
I always worry about tourists coming to Cape Town and thinking that in terms of representation of our country, that's it. Yeah. And then you find out that the country is actually what? It's over 70% non-blacks. It's not reflected. You could be fooled in thinking that, and then for you to see black people in Cape Town, you've got to go on a tour to the ghetto, got to go to Guguletu or to Langa, to the township tour. Where are the people here?
Because the black people only come into the city to work.
Yes.
And then they leave.
And on public holidays, like Boxing Day and after New Year's, they go to Camps Bay.
Yes, the beach, yes. I saw that
I always call that the fuck you day. When they get there, and they're like, fuck you. I'm going to sit on your porch, and I'm gonna open up my boot, and I'm going to you'll see what you got to do about it, because there's a lot of us here.
Remember how UCT was divided?
Of course.
If you're at Leslie Social Sciences at lunch, that's only the colored people. On Jamie's certain section, that's only South Africans, but then which ones? From Johannesburg, they sit here. And then the Cape Town ones, they sit there. And then the mixed people came from the coastal areas, all gang up together, and they sit this side. And
on that side it was the Indians.
Yes.
Little Bombay.
Yeah, Little Bombay. We even gave it names.
And you see that from first year, from when people come in from first year, it's like that. It's like people just kind of fall into that. And there are a few breakaways, obviously, but mostly it's just kind of.
And that was great for me, actually, because I came from a high school where I was one of 7 black kids in the whole high school.
Yes.
No, 7 non-white. Actually, it wasn't just black, So to be able to be given that opportunity to just be with black people. In abundance was quite something. It never
happened.
I never had that before. And I guess probably then the way I would explain people who just stick to is because you don't feel the need to explain yourself all the time. You know, you don't.
I get that, but I think sometimes it's so limiting because I know when I've been with other people, that's where I've learned stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like, and cool, well, what I think is cool stuff, or just different stuff, and just a different way of seeing the world. And sometimes this is how I know we misunderstand each other so much, you know? Like, when I say this, people actually think I mean that, when actually I mean something else. Do you know what I mean? Like, just in terms of, you know, how we black people, we tend to be loud. And it's, you know, it's a fact, we're loud. And some people find it offensive, but how we explain it is that it's just to show that we've got no secrets. You know, I'm not talking about you. So there's nothing, I don't have anything to hide. So anyone can like eavesdrop into the conversation. But only with chilling with other black people do you get to learn that, and sitting with other, you know, people of a different race. You understand the reason why they do this is that it's not because they're being funny, but it's just whatever.
I'm not saying it's right, but I'm just saying it's easier.
Yeah, no, it is. It's easier.
You know,
I was thinking about the whole university sort of segregation thing as well now. And I came from a coloured school. That when I was in matric, they started letting black people come to the school. So I went to integration. So when I went to university, it was a huge culture shock for me. I was like, oh my word, look at all these people. But even so, like you said, there were all these like these groups, and to meet people from those groups, you'd have to be quite sort of confident and like go out there.
But what I've loved just in terms of meeting other people, and just especially people who I thought were better, if you know what I mean, like they have better lives. So you think people, if they're wealthier than you or are more privileged than you, that they have no problems. Like I always imagined like that was life. Like life is easier for them. But then you find out we're actually all kind of the same. Do you know what I mean? Drama is drama, life is life. It's just what it is. And there's certain things money can't fix. There's certain things color can't fix. There's certain things
money makes
worse. Actually. It brings problems. Like I never imagined money could bring problems. You know, like problems. You know, and it's just I've just seen it. I'm like, maybe that's not something that I really want after all.
That's the thing with poverty here. Like there's a lot of it, and it's terrible. And yes, the government could do more about it, but I don't buy that entirely. You know that it's the ANC didn't deliver because there's still so much poverty and all of that, because people just aren't being accountable. Like they're not
Expecting everything to be handed.
Yeah, like if you can't find a job, then find something you can make. Find something you're good at. Be a car guard. It's a start.
But we still have complexities in terms of, people still don't want to be seen to be, maids or cleaners or a certain kind of jobs, because it's kind of deemed low or not, prestigious or something like that. But I'm like, I'm just like, you're working, you're doing something. And I mean, we need everybody to make the world run, and someone's got to do it. And I think it's just much better than breaking into someone's house or holding a gun up to someone's head and taking their car from them, But Devin, that's doing something, and that is a start. And I mean, you've heard so many stories of people just like, I started as a car guard, then I met this guy who then I started working for him, and then now I'm a big shot lawyer or something like that. Anything's possible, but it's definitely a start.
I think before Thabo Mbeki was recalled, I did think that South Africa was in trouble, but now I feel it's got a better chance than it did, because people are now talking about voting. People are actually thinking about their vote, and
I think that's definitely
making people accountable.
It's definitely been the upside to it. I mean, I was terrified when that whole recalling thing, because I just you didn't know which way it would turn, and no one knew, sort of like what was going to happen. But the upside is definitely that people have started to get involved and people are talking. And I mean, I haven't heard so much political speak in such a long time that, and people are really passionate and people are finding things out and they're getting their facts straight. And, and everyone has their own opinion that applies to their own, and that's very healthy. I think that's the only way it can actually move forward. Because I think for the longest time we were very complacent and we sort of just... oh yeah, ANC is ANC, and that's how it's the truth, and and all of that. No one, I never imagined that there would be like such a huge like opposition to it, that there would actually be another choice.
Well, for the past 10 years especially, there's just been like one voice and like one vote, and there's only been one option. And we haven't really been interested in exactly, you know, the running of the country and exactly what's involved and what we want as South Africans, you know. And I'm just so happy that we're standing up and we're saying this is what we want, this is what we don't want, and we're all realizing that we don't want the same thing. And I think it's really good that this is happening, and I think it's about time, and I'm happy it's happening in my lifetime. I actually didn't think it was going to happen this soon. I really didn't think it was going to happen this soon, but I think it's very exciting. Very exciting.
Yeah, didn't think it was going to happen in our lifetime.
People in parties have got to be more accountable, and now we want to see. You know, we want to see how they're running their stuff. We want to see the papers. We want to see their documents and stuff. This is how much money we gave you. This is how much went to this, A, B, C, D. We want to see the breakdown, you know? And I think it's going to just make things a little bit more see-through and just calm down the corruption. Because I really think it's a problem. And it's something that makes me panic. Because I'm like, oh, because I don't know so-and-so, that means I'll never get a job. You know, I'm not a ANC card holder, so I'll never get like a great job in South Africa and stuff like that. But I think it was a problem, but I think it's in the problem of, I mean, it's in the process of being slowly but surely, you know, solved in a way. And I think it's this whole breakup thing and people having to be accountable for everything that they do.
And I think, it goes right back to that accountability, because every single citizen has a way of being involved in policies, in government and in forums and all of that, but people don't do it because it's too much of a bother, you know. So if people, like, it's not good enough to just sit down and say they are eating our money. You know, like, what are you doing about it then?
Yes. Are you finding out about it?
Are you finding out about it?
Are you sure about it?
Asking the questions?
Yes. Are you sure about it?
Are you a taxpayer?
Sure.
Let's start there.
I think it's very easy for us to talk about this because we're all obviously not poverty stricken. Do you know what I mean? And if you're like your every waking thought is about how you're going to put food on the table, you're not necessarily so concerned about policies, even though in the end they do affect you. But it's, you know, I think that's basically a lot of where the so-called complacency comes from. It's from people who don't have the time to be dealing with those kinds of issues. So they need other people to be guiding them in that. And it comes to like the community forums and the leaders of those communities and so forth. So it's, I don't know, it's complex.
It takes everybody. We all have to play a role, you know. And I think South Africans are beginning to realize that we each have a role to play in our country, and if we each do something right, it affects everything, you know. And we all can make this world a better place. It's just we have to do something about it. We have to stand up and do something about it, and that's something acting actively, and that's something that we've been lacking thus far. We've been expecting everything to happen, you know, like it's something out there. There's this black box out there that does stuff, you know. We don't have to do anything and then it magically appears, and that's not real life. I mean, you know it from everyday life. If you want something, you've got to put hard work, and sometimes it sucks and sometimes it takes a long time, but it is what it is.
My dream is to be a happy and whole person, so I can be a good role model for my little girl and to provide her with a good home in which to grow up in, and so that she looks to me, for example, and she knows that she can be whatever she wants to be. That's my dream.
My dream would be to be at peace with everything that I am, and to realize everything that I am, and to not hold back in any way, because that's the only way I will be able to spark a change in anyone else for any other reason, and to find a husband and to have children and to have money, you know, so I can support them and provide for them and provide for me.
I'd love to see Africa reach its full potential. Even if it's not in my lifetime, I'd like to see it starting to get there, where we no longer expect aid from European countries or Western countries. I would also like to live a good life, a life that I am not ashamed of, that I'm proud of, and I'd love to write a book one day.
I just realized so much potential in my country, and I realized that I think I consider myself to be privileged, from a privileged background, and I realized that I have some sort of a responsibility towards the country, and I just wish I could live to achieve whatever that thing is that I think the universe has set out for me. And I hope it's something that can make a really big difference in the country. And yeah, I dream to live here, to see South Africa get to where I know it can be.